Kia ora koutou e hoa ma, and welcome to this video about the new moon in Cancer that's coming up next week from the point of view of Aotearoa New Zealand. My name is Fiona Ingram of sunandmooncalendar.nz. So we're going to look a little bit at the astrological energies from the point of view of Western tropical astrology, also with a touch on Māori astronomy because it is the season of Matariki. The new moon takes place on Wednesday, 29th of July, nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's where it will be roughly placed in the sky, in the sign of Cancer in the afternoon. And later, sunset will be at 5:06. That's the time for Nelson whakatū. It'll be a little bit different along the length of the motu. The earliest sunset in our area here was 5:03. That was at midwinter. And so we're just getting a little bit more light every day now. So by the time we get to the new moon, we will be at the end of our week of celebrating the heliacal rise of Matariki. And you may have gotten up early in the morning to go and view that pretty twinkling cluster of stars, the whānau of Matariki there. And we will have had our very first holiday as a country, as a nation, to celebrate a Māori event and an astronomical event. Yeah, there are a lot of artists who have been writing waiata for this time of year for Matariki around the country, and I've chosen two of my favourite songs to put links in the description box below. You can look them up if you like. There's a more adult one and a more kids one. Enjoy. Here is how the new moon will look on the Western tropical zodiac wheel with the sun and moon together in the sign of Cancer at 7 degrees and 22 minutes. So let's look at the energy of Cancer. The planet that rules Cancer is not really a planet, it's the moon. And that's because in astrology, both the sun and the moon are regarded as planets. Think about the people of ancient times, our ancestors of indigenous cultures that we all come from. They saw the moon from the point of view of the earth and therefore as equal size and equal importance to the sun. And in ancient astrology from the Greek and Babylonian traditions that have led to Western tropical astrology, the moon was assigned to the sign of Cancer and the sun was assigned to the sign of Leo. Okay, so let's look at the moon with Cancer. The Cancer energy is emotional, receptive, and reflective. So just like the moon reflects the light of the sun. The element of Cancer is water. So Cancer needs to flow with emotions, ups and downs, ebbs and flows, ins and outs. And this is also like the changing phases of the moon. The modality of Cancer is cardinal. So all that emotional energy needs to go somewhere, and where it goes is into nurturing and looking after family, one's children, the home, and protecting, and also one's inner child. And you can use that Cancer energy to parent yourself. Everyone has Cancer in some part of their chart and therefore in an area of life. So think about where for you like to be quite protective and nurturing, and you might even be kind of private and only wish to connect with your intimate close people, and there'll be a lot of sensitivity and nurturing of emotions in there. And that's the Cancer energy. When it is new moon, take some time to pause and rest and contemplate. Don't start anything new until you see the crescent moon in the sky. It might not be that big, but that's a pretty cool photo. Okay. The new moon energy and then the waxing phase of the moon lends energy and power to things that are started and initiated, things that you want to grow in that time. So let's look at some other things going on with this new moon energy. The sun and moon together in the sign of Cancer. Now let's look at some of the other planets. There's a square to Jupiter that I'll talk about shortly. And Neptune, just before the new moon, is stationing as it's stopping in the sky from the viewpoint of Earth and it is going to go backwards according to what we see. And this will expand on Neptune themes like creativity, intuition, connection to universal love, connection to source. On the downside, it might mean that we're more prone to illusion and being taken for a ride. So take care of that, and misinformation and all that. We also have Mars square to Pluto, which is not comfortable, but it will be mitigated by a sextile to Saturn at the same time. Venus is sextile to Jupiter. That's a nice energy. And Mercury trine to Saturn. So there's a mixture of energies. And there's the full lineup. Less complicated than most of the year so far. I'm going to just talk briefly about the Jupiter square to the moon. So this might mean that we feel motivated and like driven, that's the square energy, to do a lot of stuff. And because it's about Cancer, it might be to really look after people and look after our home and buy things to make things really comfortable, like buy cushions. But don't go overboard, because Jupiter in that square aspect might mean that we go a bit too far with that. So take it easy. Be aware of taking things too far. I feel like this new moon doesn't have the same amount of dramatic energy that many of the lunations have had so far this year. There is some stuff going on with asteroids and Kuiper belt objects, so you could look that up if you're interested. I'm not going to go there today. The next big astronomical event that's coming our way is when Uranus, Mars, and the North Node come into conjunction at the end of July, beginning of August. So we'll talk about that at the time. Things to think about this new moon in Cancer. How do you want to connect with your feelings? How do you want to nurture your feelings? How do you want to enjoy your home nest so that it's comfortable and nesty, really good for midwinter as Cancer comes for us? How do you want to nurture your family? And that can include your biological family or a found family. And with Cancer and the moon, there are emotional ups and downs. So how can you deal with those emotional ebbs and flows in a positive way? Maybe you do need to have a good loud talk like the seagulls there, or maybe a more calm way would be good. And lastly, how can you nurture your inner child? And where there are areas that you didn't get good parenting, and I think that happens for everyone, how can you parent yourself and look after yourself and guide yourself in a positive way so that you can deal with the world? Enjoy nurturing and nesting with the Cancer new moon. There we go, everyone. That is all about the new moon in Cancer, and I hope it's a good one for you. I recommend that you set yourself some intentions, maybe for how you nurture, how you connect with emotions, how you make your home secure and comfortable, and how you look after people. But wherever you want to, the new moon will support new starts and new initiatives. So all the best for the month ahead. Kia pai tō marama. Hei kona rā ka kite.